Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun, the show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
On today's episode, the romance arc strikes back. This is Fall in Love, You False Angels. Welcome, everybody. I'll use my persona to do this podcast. This is Moxidine, joined by the true heartthrob of Shonen Jumping the Gun. It's Isekai Sensei Sama Brad.
Oh, damn, you've seen through my disguise.
And yes, we are here continuing with the shojo arc. And we have picked a just straight-up romance. Even though there's romance in the other ones we've covered. This is a straight-up romance, written and arted by Koko Izuki. It started in April 2023 and has been running until now and is still running for about 6 volumes so far, and is officially being published in America physically. I personally read it on K-Manga.
Yes.
An annoying thing I learned that K-Manga does is that when you have it on another monitor, because usually I have the manga in one monitor and my Google Doc in the other, if you click away from it, it hides the panels, which is really annoying when I'm trying to write what's going on.
I noticed it doing that recently. I don't think it's always done that.
I don't remember doing that in the last K-Manga thing we covered.
And I was like, oh, it must be doing that so that you can't rip it. Except you can totally still take a screenshot.
I took a screenshot because I needed the names, and I'm not going to be able to remember the names of the spelling without doing that.
So I don't know what they do that for.
I don't know what it's for. I guess you can't stream the manga? ? I
don't know.
It's already free every day. What's the harm? I guess because you said ripping it, but again, anybody could do that if they wanted to.
And there is something to mention with the K-Manga thing because there's only, 20 chapters out there so far?
I didn't see how many chapters.
It's not a ton. It's definitely not 6 volumes worth.
It was interesting that it's being physically released already because it had, when I went to the Wikipedia page, it had American IB, library numbers on them.
I mean, if it's at 6 volumes, it doesn't really surprise me, but... The thing with the K-Manga one is that whatever their licensing agreement is, they are dropping them in batches. So,
I wonder if they're doing them a volume at a time because I know Jump does that on its app. There's certain series.
Yeah.
Bugle Call did that. Kingdom does that. I'm sure there's others. I think you and I are polar opposite. Speaking of old romance stuff we've covered, we'll do that where they just go, here's a new volume. Golden Kamuy was doing that back when Golden Kamuy was still coming out.
That's probably what it is. That makes sense.
There was another... before I get into I have one other piece of information, but to that, I know there's another localization floating around, but I don't know if that one was legit. The K-Manga one, honestly, was very good. I had a good time with it, because there was a time where I'm like, can I find this somewhere else that won't block it while I'm writing the summary? And I found another one, I had them next to each other, and I'm like, the verbiage is different. And I'm like, the K-Manga one is better. It is written more in a teenage voice, so... I'm glad we both read the K-Manga one, because it gave this one a lot more...
Well, it was also easy, because, K-Manga, you get them for free.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm just I'm happy this one was good, and it's rare that I get to see another example that it's this would have been fine, but this one was this one had the juice.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to say I found this manga specifically from checking the Kodansha Manga Awards for the shoujo category, which this won in 2025.
Cool.
Just last episode, we covered a previous winner of the award with Fruits Basket, and I'm sure we'll be returning it to again sometime. That whole list of both shonen and shoujo winners is definitely one I'd want to go to. I mean, we've either already covered or talked about a number of manga on that list. So, but I really wanted a newer shoujo. We had plans for another one, but to some outside circumstances, we weren't able to fit it in time for this arc. So you just have to wonder what that is. But I wanted specifically in this where we're doing a lot of older things to get one from this decade. That felt important as we're kind of taking this little sampler plate. So with that, let us get into my patented Moxie's Mach Speed manga summary. Episode 1, The School Madonna. We see our protagonist through the years at the mirror as she describes being very... Shoot, I don't think I spelled this word right. Perspective seems wrong. Why does that feel wrong?
What's the sentence?
She describes being very... She's very, she can notice people. What is the word that I want?
Perception?
Perception. How do you form that word when you're good at it?
Perceptive.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
I don't know why that feels wrong to my ears, but I think you're right. Yes, perspective. That's what I wrote. That just I don't
You
know.
said perspective again.
That's my problem. She's very good at noticing these things.
She's very perceptive.
Thank you. Even as a child, she already knew what people wanted to hear, so she created a facade to play this part and say always what they wanted to hear. We cut to school in the now, I guess, and two boys talk about this new girl on campus who's a real beauty, the school's Madonna, if you will. Their walking and talking is broken up when a piece of paper smacks one of them in the face, and we meet our other player for this game, the boy, or more accurately, the prince, from his demeanor. The prince apologizes as our player 1 shows up, who also apologizes. Her presence instantly has the boys' hearts beating. They are Otogi Katsuri and Toki Niomai. These are our boy and girl. The first year's presidential duo. The two talk inside, and everyone is just so blown away by both of them. Toki notices Otogi got a paper cut. Toki is the boy, Otogi is the girl, just to clarify. I had to look back at those names a couple times to make sure I had who was who right. Toki notices Otogi got a paper cut from the whirling papers and gives her a Band-Aid. We use this moment to cut to a cafe later where Otogi, with her mask clearly down, talks to a friend. She doesn't per se have the hots for him, despite what her friend might think with her prying, but he is incredibly perfect, the only to obscure her social aura, so he'd be the perfect person to be her first boyfriend. Her current efforts aren't working. He treats everyone he treats her like everybody else. Oh, Kenpachi Ramasama, how can you be so flippant yet so desirable? Her friend calls her a heartthrob angel, which she hates. We see her thoughts that if she was really an angel, she'd just shoot his heart to make it throb. That phrasing was just like, no. Ugh. It's at this point I find I really don't like that turn of phrase. Cut to later with our two angels working on a project. Toki decides it's time for a break, and he leads to get them a drink, as Otogi freaks out that not only is she not making any wooing progress, but she's also starting to actually fall for him. What is up with that? The two of us are so alike. What is his weakness? Wait, if he's just like me, I wonder if he has another side. We see her observe him over the course of a week, and nothing. He's so incredibly perfect and nice. As she's being frustrated about this, it becomes that time of the month for cramps, and dang, she didn't restock her pills in her purse. Seeing Otogi's pain, Toki takes her to the nurse's office and surprisingly watches over her as she rests before taking her to the train station to get home. It's then one of the dumb love-struck boys from the start shows up. I think they were the same boys.
No, those are different people.
I thought they seemed older, but they had like a vaguely same design. This is an art style that I have a trouble differentiating people, but that's kind of on me a little bit.
I thought the same thing at first until they started talking and they were talking about being drunk and everything, and I'm like, those are older boys.
You're right, that pinged off to me too. But they also looked too young to be drunk, but also they're shit heels, so whatever.
But yes, the center one did look very similar to one of the boys at the beginning.
Yes. But yeah. It's some new drunk love-struck boys, not from the start, show up to attempt to hit on Otogi, which she is very much not a fan of. If only Toki wasn't here, she could tear into them, but she can't let the mask down with him around. It's then Toki stands to try and get the boys to leave, but that only escalates things. Then Otogi's mask slips. That's enough, you punks better leave him alone or else. Oh no, she's done it. But wait, Toki likes it. What a badass, he says before joining in with a similar outburst. The ogling boys driven off, our pair check in. Who are you, says Otogi. I'm Toki, duh. But it also seems my cover's blown. I've been trying to hide it till this graduation, but your other side coming out dragged mine out too. It seems we've both been trying to hide it from each other. As this reveal happens, Otogi's heart is beating faster. I'm supposed to be the heartthrob girl. I'm the one that wins, she conceptually thinks as Toki says, hey, this is fun, but can we keep this a secret between us, my partner in crime? End of chapter 1. So... this one, romances aren't really a thing.
Yeah.
I don't dislike one. I think this one is good. It weirdly has, I feel very personally connected to it we literally just did a giant bonus episode that I don't know when it'll come out related to this, of like sometimes I can have like the mask on because I want to be nice to people. I'm hoping it's not fake. This is the things I talk about in therapy. I generally want to be nice to people. I think that's important. But that concept of like the mask is on and these are the strong emotions I'm truly feeling, and moments of like letting the mask slip are people you feel comfortable with that, and two people are false angels both butting into each other going, dang it, like treat me differently. But and also in a romantic context of like everybody gets to see the face, but I get to see what's really going on underneath. Like it's the tsundere thing. It's like this person's tough and gruff to everybody else, but I get the gooey center.
Right.
So my brain was like, these are things that you like. And just emotionally, I was just like, it's fine. like it's well put together. Like it's just, it was one of those. It's like I enjoyed it. It was well put together. I wouldn't read more of it, but I'd be like, yeah, I get it. What kind of times did you have it with it? I'm sure I can get into more details about the feelings outside of that. But
so yeah, I mean, I liked it. This is definitely up my alley. The sort of dichotomy of your outward persona, as it were, yes, versus who you are behind closed doors and everything, and like letting that open for only one person and all that. I like that kind of thing. It's fun. I think that I do have a couple issues with at least this first chapter.
I mean, that's all we have.
I think the story overall is probably really good. And I think generally speaking, it's a good chapter. My very specific issues are, it's sort of strange because it's not like a pacing issue, but it's sort of pacing related. I think some of the things were not shown very clear. It's a show don't tell kind of situation where they're telling you and not showing you. The whole her being like this idol that wins people over and everything, like they didn't really make that super clear from the actions.
From the actions? Well, what? The I feel like the intro is the two boys talking about her, that she's such a
Well, no, and that's my point, is that they talk more about how this is how she is rather than letting you see it.
Do we ever see her by herself having that effect on somebody else?
No. And so that's sort of my thing. And I don't think it's necessarily like, it didn't kick me out of it or anything, but as I'm sitting here thinking about it, it's like, oh yeah, like I don't think I was quite as pulled into who she is as a person, the mask, as it were, because I didn't get to really see that. We had one shot of her going, oh, were you guys okay? When the one got hit in the face with the paper, and it was like, that didn't really do it for me.
I think you're right. I think some of my counterpoint is that because we get to see inside of her brain, her mask isn't, the particulars of her mask isn't important, but I get what you mean, is that we never get to see it out and about. We mostly see it with him.
Well, and so there's the flip side of this, which is, and this is probably something that gets dealt with in later chapters, but for this first chapter, the whole thing of like, oh, this person who I really am, I say, you guys better leave him alone. I'm like, how is this?
I'm assuming my brain heard the Bancho voice come out, the ore happened or whatever.
I guess.
Like that's why I thought it was going to be the rolling R or something. In a way that
I wouldn't expect it to be that extreme, but like
I could. That was my.
And then he's like, "Oh, that was badass." I'm like, "Was it?"
I know, right? That's why my read on it of just it being like it was the tone that because it was a manga we couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
And admittedly, for how good the rest of the localization was, and also maybe that's in the basic the Japanese writing, because the use of modern slang for teen slang here was, I think, done very well. It didn't feel tacked on. It just felt like there's certain other like manga with teens in high school where they use to replace a lot of Japanese teen slang, they put a lot of American slang in, and I like when they do that because it gives it a really particular flavor to it that you don't normally get. But yeah, I had a little bit what you had, but I think to fix it in my brain, my brain read it as it's in her delivery where she's normally very sweet and demure, and all of a sudden she fires up fucking, like, I know she doesn't say fucking, but like I think it was I think I auto-completed his tone, but you are right. It seems very just like, well, she just told those guys off. But in a manga, you can't hear tone of voice that much in her because of the way the art works, her expression.
Can you believe a teenage girl told an older man to
a bunch
go
of drunk
away?
hooligans? A bunch of drunk
How
hooligans.
scandalous.
But I think it's, like I said, I think an anime would capture that vibe better of normally she's the very like quiet, demure, smiley, look at me, I'm nice, but I'm very kind of because I'm a woman in Japan, and this is what makes me desirable, I guess, or whatever the fuck. And that's why when she ore, whatever, I'm making up the ore bit. That's just my shorthand for going. I'm doing the rolling R's and firing up.
I want to be clear that it's not a huge problem.
No, it's but I understood. I felt the same thing.
It's the one problem that I had with it that I'm sort of just latching on to because it's the thing to talk about. That's what we do.
Yes.
Because I think you can get away with just telling us like this is how it is and seeing sort of the side effects of it in the way that other people interact with her.
Yeah.
I just would have connected with it more if it had been the only word that comes into my mind is visceral, but
I mean, this is the problem with our show where it's like I feel like more chapters where it's like we've set up because the whole concept is the name of the manga. And now that we've met them, we could just spend more time with her doing other things that is not just, I'm either with him with the mask kind of semi-on, semi-off, or I'm out with a friend opening up.
Right.
Like, I think we will see more of that and we'll get a better sense of her vibes. And, like, that's the thing, a weird thing of just, like, I bet this will be an anime at some point, and I bet that scene will read a lot better to us than it did here. Because I feel like the tone is where that, meaning that vibe changed lives.
I'm going to do a comparison then.
Okay.
To You and I on Polar Opposites.
Yes.
Which we covered.
Yes.
And
which I liked a lot more, admittedly, but that was more because it was more cartoony and more up my alley.
Well, but I think that's the thing is because the emotions were able to be conveyed better because it's more cartoony, you can have there's a wider range of things that you can show to convey those things. I think that worked better in that way.
I could see that. The art style is very like, yep, it's a modern style. Like it's not bad. And I wouldn't say full on like derogatory generic, but it's like and I don't even know if I'd say workmanlike.
But more specifically, You and I Are Polar Opposites, the anime came out recently.
Yes.
And I've watched a couple clips on YouTube, and I think that the anime is doing a really good job of giving you what the manga set out to
storyboarded as. Yeah. The energy that it captured on the page now in motion, in color, with sound.
So it's obviously heightened, but it's not like, oh, this is fixing it, which is what sometimes happens.
Yeah.
So I think in this case, an anime of
Fall in Love You, False Angels
would fix some of the issues.
I do like that name. I know I come down on a lot of the light novel long names, but this one feels cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You both from chapter 1, you know what it means, but also it's like, well, yeah, that's what's going on. But it's not like the light novel told you exactly what we're doing on the tin. It's like, no, it's a cool little phrase. It's got it's not it tonally, and I don't think it's what it's going for, but it's got like a noir air to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Even though the manga has nothing to do with that and doesn't have that tone at all, but it just instantly makes me go like, oh man.
So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to come back around and say like, yes, I did enjoy this.
Yeah, this is good. This is not,
which I did say at the beginning.
Yes,
but just to
reiterate,
bookend this, that all of that was really the only issue I had with it. I liked her as a character, even though I wanted more.
Yeah.
I liked for him, you didn't get a lot, but that's because in this first chapter, we're in her perspective. And so you're not supposed to get much of him yet.
Do you think we will ever get his perspective, or will he always be the... I think we don't, because I think the game is... We join her game now, because that's where my emotional core one is like... He seems like he's not interested, but she's interested. Mm-hmm. It's like, what's going to happen that, with her own knowledge of herself, that she's going to try to get through the mask again, especially now that she knows there is something behind it.
Right.
And that's what she wants. And whether there's an actual relationship behind that is not what this manga is trying to answer, and I don't think that's what I would want either. Because I know that's my normal thing when I come to a romance manga, but it's like that's not what this is here for, and I'm chill with that.
And I have to say, one thing that I really, really enjoyed, and I shouldn't have said really, really, because now this is going to sound creepy.
Too much.
The very realistic portrayal of her as a teenage girl at that time of the month.
You're right. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like, yes, really, really doesn't fit, but it's also, but genuinely of just like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen, I've seen somebody.
It was done so well.
Yeah.
Like it was real, but it wasn't graphic.
Yep.
They didn't dwell on it too much.
Just, she's not, but they also weren't just like, I'm getting headaches. I need to go. It's like, nope, this is an actual thing girls are going through.
Yeah.
So and we're in a shojo manga, or manga and magazine. Like, let's just go for it. But yeah, in a weird way for us to talk about it, I did appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel like that was handled again from a not having those bits.
It feels like the kind of thing that you just you never really see that.
It's
even
almost
in,
like every so often real people show up in manga. It's a rare occurrence.
Yeah, it feels so rare that, especially because it was done so sort of like respectfully and real, that like
I guess it doesn't. Like,
it's even more points.
It's always one of those things. It's like I don't want to see this all the time, and it doesn't need to be because we're in an art form. We get to do whatever we want with reality. But it's just like, wow.
But also,
wow.
the fact that it fit into the story,
it fit into the story.
Well.
It could have been something else, and this was the way that they got her to the nurse's office.
The fact that she sits there at her desk unmoving for so long because she's like, I have to not let anyone see that there's anything wrong. But like she's sweating. And
but
she's
I like that. Like
I'm in so much pain I can't move.
I like it's also it's like normally I have pills for this, but literally like, oh fuck,
yeah,
I forgot to replenish them, and not just like, oh, it was very just like, this is the thing I normally deal with, and normally I can deal with it myself because I have the mask on. This is me therapy wise reading into it for myself. It's like I'm normally self sufficient, and I don't like being in a powerless position.
Coming over and being like, hey, I know that you're trying to make it so everything seems fine, but I can see through what's going on.
Yeah.
Let me help you.
And also, I'm just nice. My persona is that I'm nice.
Right.
So, I don't think reading this and thinking. I mean, I said in the intro of the romance arc Strikes Back. I know at one point I said I would do a romance arc 2. I don't think I would, but I think I would take stuff that we maybe had picked for it and put them in other things because I think we learned then and I know now, and especially when it comes to high school ones, even if they have an interesting concept, my emotions do nothing for them. Even if in this case where I was just like, I can see bits of myself in this in a way that I actually can feel it. I'm just like, the stakes of what a high school romance is just isn't enough to get me forward to read more.
Yeah.
And that speaks nothing to its quality, but it speaks to the way that I am wired to move forward on it. And I feel a little bad about that, but mostly I don't, because it's just, that's where I'm at. But I'm not saying this is bad or I wish it did X, Y. If it did X, Y, Z, I'd like it more. It's just like, no, it's doing what it's doing, and if you like this, you'll like this. Like, honestly, like, meaningfully. It's just one of those, it's like, this isn't for me, and I would not want to do a whole arc of where most of them are just like, either I didn't like this relationship because I thought it was toxic, or like, yeah, this is fine. Yeah.
So
I think that's just not interesting for a month.
I think... So I read a chapter of a slice of life romance thing that I've been reading for a while now, and the conceit of it is that a below average height boy, these are 2 high school students, is dating an above average height girl.
That sounds great.
And at this point in the story, they're trying to keep it hidden. Like,
okay,
they try to keep their interactions at school like a bit distant, even though they are friends at school, but like they're trying to have people not know. And at the end of this last chapter that I read, this might have been yesterday, they're like walking home from school together, and like they don't hold hands until they're really far away from school. Or
like classic.
And they're having this conversation, and it's going back and forth, and they're being cute and everything, and the normal thing with that. But then on the very last page, we get like this sort of like long shot. It cuts back, and there's 3 other kids watching them from like behind the corner, and they like go back then, and they're like, oh, we need to make sure we protect them, and like and it's just like, oh, this is so healing to my soul just to watch them and everything. And I
it's
went,
just like you're an audience in
right, no,
surrogate,
and that's what it is.
You're not in the relationship, you just want to see the relationship flower.
Yes, and I think that's exactly what this is. Reading Comey Can't Communicate, and You and I Are in Polar Opposites, and all these things. It's like,
you want to see the relationship
obviously
actually flower.
I'm not seeing myself in this. I didn't even go to high school, but like, these are children. I am an old man. I'm obviously not self-inserting here, but the getting to see these these youths in the time of their life,
Yeah.
blossoming, and it's so cute and wholesome and adorable, and like I get healed from that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about that. I'm sad of the thing I'm about to say. It's not bad, but like, man, that again, your wholesome take was wholesome, and I'm like, man, I just want to let that sit. That one's a good one. I have a big brain thought that is actually a small brain thought, but to me it's a big brain thought.
Are we doing the bell curve meme again?
Maybe. Romance manga concepts are beholden to the same point I made about isekai gimmicks, in that the gimmick can sound interesting, but if you can't keep the story going, I'm removing your points for having a gimmick.
Okay. Yeah. No, I totally.
Because it's like, because when you said like the girl's really tall and the boy's really short, I'm like, I love that. How does that stay interesting and not just become we're doing another romance? And the answer is that there's a bunch of people that just it's really wholesome and they're watching for it. But it's like, how do you give that legs in a way that is still meaningful however many volumes later?
Yeah,
like what makes that
definitely.
what is the outside of the like Teehee here's like a dozen gags related to this, how do you keep that relevant?
Comey Can't Communicate
Goes on for
is
hundreds
over
of chapters.
500 chapters, and somehow it worked for me the whole way.
That's a good author. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying this is the thing I have the isekai. It's like, if you can't keep it going and it just becomes generic. I always think back to Sweat and Soap every day, always. Not every day, but when this kind of thing comes up where it's like the initial gimmick I liked, but then the gimmick kind of faded and it just became a regular romance. And it's like, well, it could have been anything then.
And I think that's sort of what it comes down to, is the amount of give me more that you're looking for. A lot of times you can't keep up that level. So it's sort of,
you can't. It doesn't. That's why I need like a shorter one, or it just needs to modulate more. I don't know if it's like the episode you'll hear next week makes a really specific point to reiterate when we do these arcs based on quote unquote genre things, of that none of these titles, like a shojo or a shonen, mean anything. You'll learn this next week. I specifically picked next week to say fuck us and you about none of these mean anything. But with that stated, completely disregarding this lesson that I'm talking about, I feel like specifically trying to find josei female adult romance is something that I would want to seek out to see if that could hit the button.
So, yeah, and I think it comes down to, like, at what level are you comfortable, like, as it drops down in, these all start with this, it's a super interesting concept.
Yeah.
Oh, she's really tall and he's really short. Okay, we work through
She's
a couple
stinky
issues.
and he likes sniffing things.
And now it's at a level where, like, they're just sort of together. Cute things are still happening, but like the fact that they're different heights, nobody really cares about that anymore.
The thing that made it different than all the other, especially high school romances that have happened in manga and storytelling, they just kind of wades into the pool.
And so I think, obviously you need a more heightened level to continue, whereas I feed off of the wholesomeness.
Yes,
and
that's I love that for you. I love that for all of humanity that can do that, and in the way that I generally cannot. It's very rare my brain goes, I ship these two and I need them to be happy. That happened recently, but I don't remember what it is, and that makes me sad.
I wanna be clear. We've had this conversation before. You're not wrong in this. It's just what does any one person's brain get out of a piece of media?
But also to that is that even if the author runs out of ways to work it in, I said that more pointedly if I meant specifically you, the royal you, that also sometimes even includes me, are emotionally connected to those characters. I hate that we recorded a bonus episode, so I can't reference it here. But it's the idea of like, you can't just chop it and be done. You need to have them laid to storytelling bed so that this wholesome thing that you've been taking in.
You can get bonus episodes for only $1.
But like, because it's like, even if it's like they want to end it, they have to end it right, or you will take psychic damage.
Yeah.
Again, the royal you, including me. If it's not handled well, if you don't get
they got married and had kids, and the kids are normal sized.
The kids are even more freak beasts than their parents.
Could you imagine?
That'd be really funny.
The son is like literally what is the correct term now? It's
Dwarf.
a little person.
I think that's it too.
And then the daughter is just a basketball player.
So yes, we talked about a bunch of other things. I feel like this was we haven't had a romance in a while. That was like clearly a romance and not also a slice of love. Because I know we kind of
in this
sort of
arc,
romances and
we're
going to
have a sort of
recently.
romance.
What?
In fact, that one might come out before this one.
Yeah.
I
reference it.
The isekai.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Gosh, is this coming out after that? Because I said the episode before. I think I said Fruits Basket. We're chill.
Well, no, Fruits Basket I think is still going to be first, but because of the new series drop,
The Cardcaptor was first.
Cardcaptor is going to come out, and then we're going to get 3 new series.
Oh,
and then we're going to get Fruits Basket.
That works. Yeah, that works. That was what I was thinking. So
then,
this already happened for you people.
Yeah.
You people. Do you think? I'm trying to let me do some prognostication and let's land this sucker. I guess what it's I think my thing earlier was just like, do we ever get to see his point of view? And I think I actively don't want that. I think the game is both me as the reader and her as the character together. Now that we've peeked under the mask, want to get under the mask more.
And I think we'll get that at some point.
Yeah.
It's just going to be an issue of like,
but we have to see it through her eyes.
How do we get there?
Yeah, that's the joy of the journey. Like that's what it's like. I'd read a summary and maybe see some keyframes, but this is not. I guess to get to fast forward a short little hop. Like I don't think I'd read more of this just because like this isn't to my interest set.
Okay.
Even if I'm like a little emotionally invested,
Yeah.
because I like the whole thing of like. I have a big thing when you get, but it's like I just want the more extreme. I want the more extreme to my taste version where it's a cool lady and she's really tough and mean to everybody, but she's nice to me because I get to see the soft, thing, and then she kicks everybody else's asses. Like, but that's like my very specific push Muxies buttons thing,
Yeah.
and that's not a thing that you can ask of every series.
So I'll tell you what happens because I'm going to keep reading it.
Oh yes, you will. Thank you. This is one I want reports on. Not full reports, but just like, hey, this is happening or this thing, what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm emotionally invested but not interested enough to continue.
This is this hit my sweet spot of executive dysfunction where it's like, oh, this is easy enough to
Very
read.
readable. Yep. But you're emotionally invested enough that you get to feel things while you're having a nice little scrumptious meal. Thoughts and feelings, Brad?
I'm going to say objectively, my thinky thinks, I'm going to go with good to great.
I think I'm there too on that one because I was great's too much. Good feels too. It's a little bit more than that. If it was just like this is a passable romance, but it's like no, it's cooking on some stuff that I like.
There's like I said at the beginning, there's obviously a couple points where I was like, I wanted them to do things a little bit differently to get
gotten a little bit more
the meaning
sauce
across better, but like it wasn't technically a problem.
No.
So I don't want to take it too far down for that, but also I think because of that, I can't give it just a full on great.
Okay. How are you feeling?
I think I'm going to stick with that for my feelings as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because like I said, I had a good time with it. I'm going to read more. But that thing of that technicality is also part of my feelings. Mm-hmm. So
I feel, and it's very much informed by I know I'm not going to read more, as I feel it's fine. Maybe fine to good. I still had a good time reading it, but as I was reading it, I just go, this is not my genre.
Yeah.
This is not this is not what makes the brain whir. I have too many other weird brain things, and I've seen too many high school romance mangas in bits and pieces to be like, what's going to happen next?
No, I think that's fair.
And in a way, like I said, it's always this is very much in a way of like, other people enjoy this one. I'm very happy for them.
Fine
honestly.
Is the base level of like, this wasn't bad.
Correct.
It's like, well, I could have felt a lot better about it.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't feel
true
bad
neutral. I wasn't just like, I felt nothing. It's like, okay, I see what's going on. And that's what puts me to fine from like, again, I listened to the episode recently. I still need something between fine and bad. That is too big of a jump for me.
So.
Because bad feels like, it was bad. And it's like, fine, I need something, but like, there's got to be something where it's like,
Did Viz message you about the Yu-Gi-Oh?
I thought about it. A, he got angry that he wasn't on it. I'm not letting him and his cardboard crack on my podcast again like that. He also doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! And B, he gave me an extra chart that I thought about for a second and then forgot about with other things. So maybe he'll hear this. Maybe if he keeps listening and yell at me about this.
He only listened to the ones that
I know.
specific to his interests.
He's like, I listened to the Yu-Gi-Oh! And I went, which one? And he's like, and I'm like, we had two. Was it the one with the cards or not? Got you by the balls, punk.
Anyway, he messaged me and he was talking about, because I was like, I don't think the 10 to minus 10.
Yeah, he gave me one too where it was like a number scale and a letter scale.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it, I'm like, I think that's
the
too
same thing but different. Yeah, it didn't capture it didn't solve our problem.
Yeah.
It just made new ones.
I'm going back to, I don't think 10 to minus 10 is necessarily wrong, but I think it needs another axis. I think it needs to be an XY scale.
It is already.
No, it's an
the
X
Y scale is the Y scale is 2 units tall. One is plus and one is minus.
That's not.
That's technically a scale. You can have, because otherwise, if you had 0 to 10 is just X.
That is a.
But we have more than
line.
0 to 10.
That's a single line.
We just made it negative 10 to 10. But it technically could be on top of each other of the scale of
somebody
above
who knows math. Come on our Discord and tell Moxie how.
I'm not saying it's a good y-axis. I'm saying it is a y-axis of positive or negative.
You're right. It's a y-axis.
It's not good.
It. I'm saying we need X and Y.
It's X and Y. You want a Z.
No, that's a third axis.
Yeah, I already have 2 axes. 0 to 10.
Positive to negative is a single axis.
No, it's not.
Yes,
it's not. It means different things when it becomes negative. Thus, it's a different axis. You just want there to be more numbers with that, so it's not just positive and negative. That's what the letter grades are for, except the letter grades are not a good idea because that doesn't capture the...
As you can tell, we haven't figured this out yet.
And also it's not important, but it is important because we're clearly still thinking about it. You said you're reading more. I'm not, but I'm excited to see your reports.
I imagine.
Would you drop a tenner on this?
Yes, I think I would pay for this in that way. I don't think I'm going to have to, though. I think I'm going to read it with tickets because there just aren't enough chapters at this point.
Be fine with that.
Maybe in the future, like when a new volume drops on K-Manga, I might actually put money
This
down
might be
for
at the
it.
bookstore even, if it's got library, ISB, whatever numbers. Yeah. I don't think... We're like kind of far in feeling, but high noon feels wrong. I don't want a high noon.
Yeah, I don't want
a high noon. Neither of us gets anything. Usually, at least if one of us suffers, it's worth it to high noon, but this one's not worth it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
We are sort of far apart.
I'll say more nice things about it unprompted.
The fact that we were at the same place.
I think because this is just taste. I don't think we're at different things because we think the quality is different. I think we're agreed on the quality.
Not to mention, I already said what I think is wrong.
Exactly. So, and I've said nice things about it. I liked it. Brad, let's end this sucker. I'm breaking up with this podcast.
Well, as always, we want to hear from you. So if you go on our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com, you'll find a page to our social links where you can find the links for all the various social media that we are on sometimes. The main place where we pretty much are always on is the Discord. So if you want to chat with us, that's the place to do it.
Yes.
You can also, you'll leave comments on the YouTube videos or I'm somewhat active on Blue Sky, but that's pretty much it. But whatever social media platform you're comfortable with, you can find us there. You can also find a link up there to our Patreon, where our supporters get perks like getting the high quality stereo version of the podcast early and bonus episodes, which
we mentioned in this very episode, and I don't know when that one will come out.
Probably a long time before this episode comes out.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
But
we have the blockade of 3 new Shonen Jump manga between this coming out and and also we haven't recorded those yet because they haven't happened yet.
But if you want to get those bonus episodes, you can just go on there and, sign up for the lowest tier. It's only $1. You can download all of the bonus episodes we've ever done. And then
make off like a bandit.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Obviously
I'd rather you stick around.
Appreciate your ongoing support, but you won't get in trouble.
Yeah.
I
won't shame you for doing this as somebody who's shown this exact behavior before.
But of course, we need to shout out our patrons who do continue to support us every single month. So to kick things off, first and foremost, at our royal tier, we've got our Crown Prince, Slimy Okra. I think we
have some new sounds because that's what I was looking on mine. I'm like, wait a minute, we didn't set up enough so Brad doesn't have his laptop or the stuff hooked up to play the sounds to my ears to sing things.
Next episode, we'll do that before we record the next one.
The episodes you will hear in the future or that you've already heard will have it in them, but we haven't gotten there yet. But we'll know it by then.
Also at our royal
so you've already
tier,
been paid, but we haven't paid you yet. I'll pay you now for a hamburger tomorrow.
Okay. Also at our royal tier,
time's fucked.
We've got our Archduke imaginary numeral.
Leaving space for whatever will go there.
Maybe. Or maybe I'll just leave this as
maybe I'll just go like, you gave us a lot of money.
At our noble tier,
thank you.
We've got our marquee, Sir Cake Dwarf. And last and certainly not least, at our commoner tier, we've got Rena, Last Man on Earth, and Laura Carroll. So thank you so much to all our patrons.
Thank you, patrons. Thank you, Brad, for doing that. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you listen to all the podcasts on our feed and our bonus episodes on Patreon. And Brad, I've been wearing a mask this whole time. This is my true form, and I fucking hate podcasting. Ah!
What's the name of this?
Fall in love, you false angels.
Okay. There's a comma in there, right?
Yes. Fall in love, comma, you false angels. Let me do a little schnoz honk. Can you fix the thing on me peeking, or is that something else that's
I
not
already
related? Okay, wow. See, he's the real guy, folks. This might go on, this other stuff we just talked about shouldn't go in the after beeps with this shit. Brad's a real one. He's the real audio engineer. He's the guy.
Put you gassing me up in the beeps.
That's why I did it. That's why I moved back to the microphone to make sure I put you over on microphone while we were recording. But not all me honking. The honking doesn't need to go in there.
You see, guys, like I didn't want to put that in the beeps, but Moxie said I had to.
I told him he had to, so he was powerless. There wasn't anything cut where he told me to do that. Honestly, it wasn't. I put him over because I wanted to.
You know, I don't have an ego. Like I don't have self-esteem issues. I think I'm pretty great.
Wait,
My wife hates that.
I'm sure it's the thing to piss people off. You've done it enough times with me that it doesn't piss me off as much. But I think the first time you did that, I did a fucking Three Stooges movement. Fuck you, I do not want to edit when I'm in viewing mode. That's what viewing mode is for. On today's episode, the romance arc strikes back. This is Fall in Love, You False Angels. That's almost the way I said you false angels wasn't right.
I think that's too announcery.
Because I think I was going for a little like the soap opera.
Yeah.
That was the energy I was going for.
Which I think the soap opera voice is not quite as...
What are you thinking then? Or do you not, is it just a not this?
Yeah, it's hard to articulate.
I got you. Do you like the verbiage at least? Of the
yeah,
romance
I think that's
arc strikes
fine.
back. I like that because this feels very much like of that.
Put a little bit of Tom from Toonami on it.
It's been a while since I've heard him, and I'm trying to key in. The great
Spike
Steve Bloom,
Spiegel.
isn't it? Yeah, I know, but that's still like Steve Bloom. I
Yeah.
can't gravel as much as he can.
But specifically announcing a show.
Okay. Fall in Love, You False Angels. Full Metal. Can I use my Full Metal Alchemist, or is that too deep? Is that what you want? I'm not as cool as Steve
Probably
Bloom.
that cadence.
Yeah.
But maybe a little...
Fall in Love, You False Angels. But a little less de bois. On today's... I'm still trying to be an old-timey... I'm a newscaster. On today's episode... On today's episode, the romance arc strikes back. This is Fall in Love, You False Angels.
Okay.
I'm still a little too.
I liked all of that except the actual title was like really stilted. So,
What do you fall in love, you false angels? Like, what's the read on that? I know what you mean. It's a good title. I just don't know how to say it nicely.
Fall in love, you false angels.
Fall in love, you false angels.
That's the one.
Thank you, Director San. Welcome, everybody. I'll use my persona to do this podcast. This is Moxidine, joined by the true heartthrob of Fuck. I'm going to take another run at that. I hate the word heartthrobs. I hate the word throb. There's only one thing that throbs in certain romance. It's not a heart, and that's why when she's like, it's throbbing, and I'm like, don't talk about throbbing.
I can feel it.
Throbbing. There's a time for throbbing. The ogling boy's driven off. Our pair chair in. What the fuck? What did that mean, me? Is it check in? Why did I write chair? I'm just gonna say check. I'll use my persona. I love when I get to put in bullshit things. It's like, obviously this is a persona, so all I think of is the Persona series when they do their attack. They did, all of them had that vocal bar. I'll use my persona.
You never see it coming.
You'll see.
A rare surprise coming. And fashion is kind. Ooh, I don't know the words, and it's in English.
I mean, somewhat same, honestly.
At least all the Japanese ones, I have an excuse for not knowing what they're saying.
Something about the ending bit is the... Okay, I think I know what it is, somewhat.
You'll find a link to our social... You'll find a page.
Brad, how many times have we said this? I know it's a little different than it was a couple months ago, but... You have a page with a bunch of links on it, but none of them matter. You should just come to the Discord. Also the Patreon, because of money, of course. But also mostly the Discord. We could do a better outro than that. This is my third. That was the second mask. My actual mask is that was the lame bit and I shouldn't have done it. When you can't make it good, you just double down on it being shit. That's the winning I don't know if that's the winning maneuver, but it is a maneuver.
The only winning move is to play again.
Hey, you turn left enough times, at some point you'll make a right turn, right? Collectively.
3 times.
Yeah.